Trey, at what point did they stop looking at themselves as freshmen? They're not rookies anymore. It's not an excuse, but when do you stop looking at them as freshmen?
When they quit making freshman mistakes, which it's part of the process, and they've been great. All three of them, and Christopoulos was having. I thought he had his best week or 10 days in a Blue Jay uniform. Unfortunately, he hurt his foot yesterday, so I don't know if he'll be available tomorrow. But they've all done a great job, and they're growing and they're getting better. You can tell by their questions that they're starting to understand more the depth of their questions and the understanding of what we're trying to do on both ends of the floor. So we're moving the right direction. That's progress is a key for us.
One of the things Trey just said was just like getting more ball movement. He thinks will help. You guys have talked about it to the players about that'll help maybe unlock some of the offense and increase the efficiency. Why do you think it's been such a struggle to get ball reversals, to just kind of get into the offense, get it flowing the way it has or it's capable of?
Well, I just think when you're young and when you're inexperienced, when you feel pressure, the easy thing to do is just put the ball on the floor to try to release that pressure, rather than trying to figure out how to get the ball over there. And I think our guys, that's kind of been our default. When there's pressure, let's put our head down and try to get to the basket. And ball movement will break down that pressure. Pace will break down that pressure, both in the full court and the quarter court. So that's part of the learning curve. And obviously, as you get into Big East play, they take away the easy stuff, just like we're trying to do with the people we're playing against. So you kind of have to go to your second and third options, and we're getting better at that. We're just not very consistent.
What has to go better against Butler than what happened last time?
I thought the coaching was really poor in that game. So we got to do a better job on the bench. No, I'm just kidding. Coach Huss did a terrific job, but we were right there at halftime, and even 4 or 5 minutes into the second half, it was a 2 or 3 point game, and they got loose for a couple threes. I think they hit 4 in a row, and really changed the complexion of that game really in 5 or 6 possessions. So we've got to be able to adjust to some of the things that they were able to spring loose from the 3-point line. It's an interesting group. Butler takes the most 3-point shots percentage-wise of their total shots of anybody in the league, yet they're last in the league in 3-point percentage. So when they've been successful, they've made shots. When they haven't, they have not. When they haven't made shots, they haven't been as successful. And obviously, they made 10 or 11 of them against us.
Is Kalkbrenner getting close to 100%, or will it take a while?
Yeah, no, it'll take a while. I thought he was better in practice yesterday than he was in the game, and I'm hopeful that we'll just continue to see progress. But without question, there was 5 or 6 plays at the rim against Seton Hall that any other game he's pounding that thing off the glass, and he was just a half a step slow and not quite as quick off the floor with that ankle. But obviously, it was great to have him out there.
This time of year, edge is an important word. Guys playing with a little edge. What's the difference between playing with an edge and trying too hard?
Yeah, I mean, you have to play hard. That's the first part of the equation, and then hopefully you can play smart as well. And that's where we have to grow. I don't think our guys are. I can't fault their effort. They've practiced really well throughout the entire season, and we bounced back from adversity pretty well. Now we haven't handled success very well, and that's part of the maturation process too. To understand that you have to treat adversity and success in much the same way. You learn from it, and then you scrub it, and you move to the next one. And I think when you're young, I think you're a little more full of yourself when you're successful, and maybe you get away from asking yourself the question, why were we successful? And those are the things we're working with this young group. That hopefully, as we move towards the end of the season, we get better.
Do you feel like the guys are maybe a little too confident going into Seton Hall coming off the part of it, and maybe that's what you're saying?
I don't know if we were too confident. You shouldn't be confident if you watch Seton Hall on film. They're long, they're athletic, especially across that guard court. It was really hard to get offense initiated with their length. And then we missed a few shots early, and they made some tough ones early, so they got off to that big lead. And we just dug ourselves a hole that was too big to come out of. Having said all that, I was proud of the fact that the second half we continued to fight. We were a missed Hawk layup in transition away from cutting it to 10 or 11, I believe. It was still 12 or 13 minutes to go. So we didn't quit, which was good to see. And, obviously there's some things we didn't do well in that game, but we also took some things out of that film that we did pretty well the second half.
Yeah, so an inconsistent shooting team, and maybe not as excellent defensively, and you've won some grinders. Can you talk us through just like, have you thought about, well, maybe we should alter the scope of how we go about it with this particular team? I don't know if that would compromise like your identity of who you want to be with these guys. Can you make some short-term fixes that won't compromise the long-term vision, or are you kind of still trying to work within that frame?
We want to work within the framework. I mean, it's who we want to be and who we're going to be with this group over time. And it's an important part of our identity at Creighton. It's the way we played. It's what we've recruited to, and what we'll continue to recruit to. And it's why these guys came here, to play in a system like that. So, we'll get out and transition. And the thing that we've done a better job of, while we've still turned it over some, the amount of live ball turnovers that we've had the last 5 or 6 games compared to when you go back to Iowa State and Arizona State, and some of those is really decreased. So, we're making progress and understanding how to make decisions in space with pace and transition. And we just got to continue to build on that. But defensively, without question, it's saved us some this year. And it's going to need to continue to be good for us down the stretch as we enter the last half of the conference season.
How much do you follow the net rankings, and do you care if your guys follow them?
I mean, I don't really follow them. It's February, so games become more meaningful. We're blessed to be in a league that we have ample opportunity for signature wins. So, you have to try to take care of the ones you're supposed to take care of. And Butler's one of those, although Butler's a really, really good team. We know that. They proved it when we played in Indianapolis. But, if we want to play in the postseason, we've got to protect our home floor. And except for the Xavier debacle in the second half, we've done a pretty good job of that. So I hope that continues tomorrow night.
Anything else? Freshman of the week, I guess, just as long as one of you guys wins it, right?
I mean, I just feel like at this point in the season, like we're just kind of getting to the point where we're trying to find our role and find our niche, and I feel like I've kind of figured it out a little bit earlier than most freshmen do, and I feel like that's the reason I'm able to kind of embrace my second time getting it. So I'm thankful and I'm blessed to be able to get it for another week.
There's one of those questions that we always like to ask the coaches, but the players too.
Yeah.
When do you stop being a freshman? Not that that's an excuse, but when do you stop saying, hey, start saying, I've got enough under my belt. I'm not a rookie anymore.
Yeah, I think we kind of got there. I think I kind of got there, and also all the other freshmen like Art and R2, I feel like we all kind of got out of that at the beginning of the season. I feel like we've had to grow up faster than most freshmen and most people in college that feel like they can adapt and kind of get used to something. But like I said, Coach Mack has given us an opportunity where we can embrace playing at an early stage in our college careers. And it's kind of like been a roller coaster, but he's trusted us, and I thank him for giving us the opportunity. I think that's why it's kind of paying dividends at this point in the season.
What do you think specifically is clicking for you now that maybe wasn't clicking for you earlier in the year?
Yeah, I talk about this a lot, and it's kind of where I've figured out where I can get to my shots and when I can create for my teammates. And I feel like I've kind of gotten to that point where I get to that second level, and then I'm like, okay, I can take this shot, or okay, I have to kick this out, somebody's wide open. And I feel like kind of doing that, and the defensive end, being able to rebound, help my team rebound. It's just really trying to help the team win, and I feel like that's kind of what's gotten to my point in the season.
Trey, it seems like you got a nice connection with R2 and Arthur. I wonder when. Was that immediate? Just like, because you guys, I don't know if you knew either of those guys before, but, you were kind of a late addition in the recruiting scene, so I wonder how much interaction you have with them and how quickly that bond grew.
Yeah, me and Art had known each other since 8th grade. Art played with one of the best 8th grade teams I've ever played against in my life. They had like the 7-footer when he was in like the 8th grade, and he was, I don't know, they beat us by like 40 in the AAU tournament, but that's besides the point. But me and Art went to a lot of Pangos camps together, a lot of All-American camps together. So me and Art had already been kind of cool with each other. And then the first week that I got here, we kind of just hit it off, me, Art, and R2. Kind of really just all the freshmen. Like, I feel like our freshman class is a very close banded group. But me, Art, and R2 kind of do everything together. We kind of work out. Our workout schedules are kind of together and everything like that. But yeah, those we're just really close, and obviously we trusted each other on the court as well.
Yeah. So when you say you knew Art, like, as in You guys hung out at some of those playgrounds?
Yeah, we used to hang out when we went to camps together. We used to like chill with each other and things like that. Yeah.
Okay. So the fact that he was coming here when you started looking at school.
Yeah.
Like that.
It really helped my decision. Yeah, for sure.
I know you guys have had 3 games since the last Butler game in
Yeah.
a short amount of time, but what do you remember about that last game against the Bulldogs?
Yeah, that's definitely one of those games that we want to have back. We went into Butler. I remember the physicality was the main thing that Coach Huss was talking about. I remember Mac being out, but Coach Huss talked about physicality. That was going to be the biggest key in the game for us to win. And obviously from the beginning, I think they went on like a 9-0 run or something like that out of the gate. And I think that had to do with a lot because like we didn't expect them to come out there and be as physical as we had talked about. And I feel like that's what kind of got us hit first. And I feel like when we tried to hit back, it was kind of like we didn't give them our best punch. And I feel like this time we're going to be ready for the physicality because we know we can expect what's about to come. And I feel like this next time we have a chip on our shoulder to get them back.
Two more for Trey.
What kinds of things are you guys talking about offensively, just to kind of you've had some games where you've had a really nice rhythm, but maybe the last couple of weeks just haven't been able to produce the way you want to, I'm sure.
Yeah.
What have you guys been talking about to try to unlock some of that?
Yeah, we've definitely been trying to, like, I think Mac showed us a statistic the other day, yesterday in practice, about in that game that we played Seton Hall, like, we only got the ball to the second side of the court, like 20% of our possessions, and then like on 15% of them we scored.
Wow.
And so like the other 80% we were already shooting the ball on getting it from one side of the court. So I mean that's a pretty big statistic, and I feel like we have to try to move the ball pretty much. I feel like when we get the ball to the second side of the court, we're very successful, as you can see. But I feel like just us playing together and us being more physical than them and being able to defend, because obviously our defense has been our thing this year. So I feel like we just have to get back to that, and then I feel like we'll be able to be pretty successful.
Trey, March is obviously only a couple weeks away.
Yeah.
Just kind of what are the things that you guys are hoping to clean up within the next few weeks? And is there kind of that sense of urgency with it being so close?
Yeah. We definitely we're in a stretch in our season where we feel like we kind of have our backs against the wall. I know that me and a couple of the coaches were talking about how if we want to be able to have a good seed in our Big East tournament, then we have to win like 4 of the next 5 games in this little strand, and I feel like that's something that we can definitely do. I feel like we'll play better with our backs against the wall anyways. I feel like people rise to the occasion that have put in a lot of work. They rise to the occasion when the occasion comes to the light. So I feel like this next little stretch in our season is going to be big for us, and I feel like that will definitely mold what kind of NCAA team we are. And I feel like that if we are able to play the way we know how and play our best brand of basketball towards the end of the season, then we'll be a very successful team in March.